I'm here checking out the Benelli Classica. It's a really sweet looking electric bike with a lot of kind of plush accessories. And actually, Benelli as a company has an interesting background that I wanted to discuss. So I'm looking at these at Hollywood Electrics in or near Hollywood, California, right?
That's right.
And you're Harlan. Are you kind of the owner or a manager at the shop?
Yeah, I'm the founder of Hollywood Electrics.
You're the founder. Okay, sweet. It's awesome to get kind of your perspective because you guys carry motorcycles and a bunch of different electric bikes. And you know this gentleman, Larry Ferracci, is that right?
Yeah, so Larry Ferracci is behind the Benelli USA, and he actually has quite a name in the motorcycle space. He's been performance parts manufacturer for Ducatis, and I believe he was the MV Agusta distributor for a while, so he's got quite a reputation in the two-wheeled world already.
Yeah.
And so it's exciting to see somebody like that moving into the electric bicycle space.
Okay. Well, it's always neat to get a little bit of a background because I've come into contact with Larry just, via phone, just talking to the guy, and now that I'm seeing the bike and just the attention to detail here is really unlike many of the other electric bikes I've reviewed, and maybe I'm just going to jump in and talk about what that means. So they've got really just one model right now. This is 2015 that we're filming this. It's the Benelli Classica. However, there are two options for this model. As you can see on this black one over here, it has 700 by 350C wheels, okay, and that's the tire size that I just did, and that means it's larger diameter. 700C is basically like 28 inches. Whereas this nice cream colored bike over here, it's got 26-inch wheels, so they're a little bit smaller, 26 by 1.5, okay? And what that does is it kind of brings the frame down closer to the ground. And both of these are already stepped through, so they're gonna be pretty easy to just approach, and swing your leg over like that, stand over at stoplights and stuff, and it makes it an easy bike to ride. I really appreciate that. They've got a few different colors. Again, you can see the cream and the black right here. They've got great accessories, including this nice overbuilt rack. It's got a couple of mounting points right there, and then down here near the dropouts. It's a little bit larger than standard gauge tubing, so some of your kind of clip-on panniers, they might not fit. You want to double check that. It's got kind of the mousetrap spring latch right there that's handy for newspapers or whatever. These nice aluminum alloy fenders, front and rear, just about full length. A nice little LED light on the back right there. However, it does use batteries, so it's not fully integrated. Kind of keep that in mind. Got the headlight as well. You've got a number of just really good sort of safety utility features. Good oversized kickstand. And then in terms of ergonomics, we've got a seat post that's really easy to adjust with quick release. Slides up and down pretty easily. An adjustable angle stem right here. These sort of gull wing style handlebars. And then actually really cool Guy's leather grips and saddle that's kind of branded Benelli, along with this sort of spring cushion. And it does feel good. It's pretty adjustable depending on how high you have the seat and where you have the handlebars. You've got something that's gonna feel pretty good. In terms of bicycle performance, this has a Shimano Nexus 8-speed internally geared rear hub. And what that does is, the chain can be super tight. There's no derailleur. All that stuff is right inside the Nexus hub. It means you can shift at standstill. I have noticed that if you're climbing a steep hill and it's under load and you shift, it might not shift right away until it kind of relaxes a little bit. And I think that helps to reduce the wear on sort of those internal parts. But anyway, it keeps that chain nice and tight. It means that this is going to be cleaner. It's going to require less service. Up here you can even see that there's like a chain guide, and that's going to keep the chain even more secure. On the other side, we've got kind of a chain protector. It's plastic, but it does match really well. These Welgo pedals, they've kind of got the rubber tread on them. When your feet get wet, I've noticed the rubber can be a little bit more slippery, but these are an upgrade. There's everything on this bike is a little bit higher quality. Really nice looking. And then up here we've got the hub. Okay, so this is a 350 watt geared hub motor. A lot of times these are mounted in the back, but because they've got that internally geared Nexus right here, the hub motor on this one is in the front, and I find that it's pretty well balanced. It kind of keeps this bike. I lifted it earlier. I was weighing it. It's about 50 pounds, and it keeps it pretty well balanced. Lighter weight with a geared hub motor than a gearless. Pretty kind of peppy, pretty responsive. It's a good feeling thing, and so decent choice there. It's got a kind of quick disconnect if you need to do some service on this. There's no quick release on either of the wheels, so you might have to have some some tools if you took it to a shop and got it serviced versus being out on the road. I love that the wires and everything are kind of run through the frame right here. This nice oversized down tube. On the rear, you might notice that we have like a kind of a, I think they call it a roller brake or a band brake. And I think this might be to dissipate heat, but basically it's a different style of brake in the rear than on the front. We've got kind of a V brake. You know, they work pretty well. Both brake levers do have a motor inhibitor, which is important for when you need to stop and maybe you're in pedal assist and the motor's still trying to go. You can immediately stop that with those brake levers. And I love that it's even got a little integrated bell, just really clean. You'll notice the cockpit on this is really sleek, but they don't really like leave anything out. So before I get to the drive modes, I'm going to talk a little bit about the battery pack. It is removable. You do not have to leave the keys in when riding. Basically pops right off. I weighed it earlier. It's about 5.3 pounds, which isn't too bad. It's a 36 volt, 9 amp hour lithium ion battery pack. So high quality cells, really good weight distribution on this thing. Really blends in, you know, this might not even look like an electric bike if you're just cruising around, and it's a pretty quiet motor, so that's awesome. I like that it's got this little integrated LED indicator here so you can tell how full it is, whether it's on or off the bike. And here is the charging port. This is the charger right here. Pretty lightweight. It's about 1.3 pounds. Just got a nice little, you know, connector right here with 3 pins. Kind of standard fare, but you could bring that along with you if you wanted to extend your range, because this does have throttle and pedal assist mode. So of course, throttle mode, you're going to use the battery more quickly than pedal assist, and in that case you could bring the battery charger and top it off quickly. So here is kind of an on and off switch. You flick, and then to get the bike to actually activate, there's a magnet in these keys, so it kind of acts like a key fob, and if you hold it over that little Benelli menu system right here, it lights up. And check that out, that is really cool. This is like the only time I've seen a system like this that's so kind of clean and seamless. There aren't really any buttons like a lot of bikes. There's a plus or a minus. On this bike, you sort of like upshift like this, and see, as you do that, the different levels of assist activate. So there are 4 levels, or you can go all the way down. There we go. It does take a second there to 0 assist, and then this just acts as kind of a cycle computer. You can see how fast you're going, your battery levels. There are 4 increments there, and you've got a little odometer. So it's just super simple, you know, right? Really clean. You know, there is an odometer. I don't know if there's like kind of a trip meter or some other settings in there. I haven't really, you know, there aren't really any other buttons, so it's not too complicated, but you might not have quite as much feedback from a system like this. And then of course you've got trigger throttle over here. So on the right, that's your Shimano Nexus. You can shift gears in the back, and then if you reach over a little further, you got that little trigger throttle. So a nice setup all around, from the lights, the saddle, the kickstands. Everything on these bikes is really clean. I think I'm gonna hop on and give it a ride, but I do want to say I was really impressed with the price. I think this is around, you know, $2,100. That's phenomenal. I mean, with this kind of accessory package and just the clean look and feel of this, there are a lot of bikes in this price range that really don't even come close. So I'm very impressed. And the seat post is 27.2 millimeters in diameter, in case you want to replace that with a thud buster or something. And I did measure the frame a moment ago. It's 18 inches from the bottom bracket right here up to the top of the down tube. So it's an 18-inch frame for all of the styles, despite whatever wheel size you end up going with. This is kind of cool. Sort of holds the wires there. Okay, here we go. And I did notice that, you know, the wires come out down here, but they seem to be pretty well protected. And there's the Cadence Sensor. It's actually really clean the way they've got this set up. You don't have like a big disc or anything. You just have that little plastic ring right there at the down tube. So this is Cadence Sensing. And when you're in 0 level, the throttle won't work. Nothing really works. So there isn't a throttle only mode. Just worth keeping in mind. I'm going to start off at the highest level of assist here, so you can hear the motor activating. Pretty responsive. Yeah, whatever design they're using for that cadence sensor is not bad at all. I'm gonna do the throttle. Here we go. Woo! There aren't any hills around here to fully test the motor. You know, it feels pretty responsive, but it's not the highest torque, highest power thing I've ever tried. You know, it gets you going and it feels good on flat terrain, and it just, you know, kind of reaches that 20 mile per hour under full power with, you know, relatively flat, smooth terrain. I did notice going over some bumps and stuff that the motor would kind of, it sort of cuts in and out as you hit some bumps, and I'm not sure exactly why that is, but you know, it's in the front wheel, so maybe it's just more noticeable. And one of the benefits of cadence sensing pedal assist on a bike like this is that once you get it going, once it's actually sensing your pedal movement, you don't really have to push very hard. You just kind of move your feet and pedal assist kicks in. It's not like a torque sensing sort of thing. And I like that. You know, for cruising around town, it's nice to just sort of relax and let the bike do its thing that way. And you know, I'm sort of mixed on this design, because there are moments where it feels like I'm doing it, right? I'm like, and then there we go. Now it finally actually changed. It's not as responsive. There we go. So you almost have to hold it for a second to get it to go. But again, it cleans up the bars and it sort of matches the right-hand side. So, you know, that's pretty solid. I'm gonna go ahead and take the battery off too and just give you a preview of what that looks like. So you sort of twist the key like, whoa, oh no. Okay, so I just popped the battery pack off, and this is what it looks like inside. You can kind of see the electrical points right there where it sort of mates up with the frame. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And I did notice that when you put it back in, you really do have to kind of line it up and then, you know, push to get it to click, or it can pop out. So keep that in mind. There we go. And as I just did a moment ago, if you're unlocking it, make sure that your hand is there, because the battery will just clunk out and you can kind of bang it up that way. Not bad. It's pretty smooth. Not bad. For this price, you know, you get a lot of features between throttle mode, 4 levels of pedal assist, a few different colors, a little bit of a choice with the tires. And again, if you get the 26-inch, it brings it down, and they also seemed a little bit fatter, so it might smooth out the ride, because there isn't a suspension fork, and you've got a sprung saddle, but you know that it's a little bit more city-oriented, this bike. So yeah, that's the Benelli Classica. It's a pretty solid electric bike. For the full write-up on this, including specs and pictures and stuff, I'll see you back at ElectricBikeReview.com.